All right, hello and welcome to the Matchday Vlogs channel. As always, please remember to smash that like button and hit subscribe because it really does make a difference to the channel. We're here this evening to talk about the upcoming game at the weekend. Of course, it's Tottenham Hotspurs on a Sunday evening at 7 o'clock. Could you get any more of a weird kickoff time? But thank you very much to Sky for making that possible. We're also going to be having a look back at recent results and be talking a little bit about the future of Southampton Football Club and how it's currently looking, because I appreciate there are some people out there who are probably feeling a little bit concerned and feeling a little bit bleak about the outlook for the club. This show is brought to you by the guys over at Football Prizes. This week we have a squad signed shirt with some instant wins in there as well, including a Kawakabias signed shirt, which is pretty cool. And I'll let you into a little secret. They've only sold 10 tickets so far. So if you want, currently the people that have entered have got a 1 in 10 chance of winning. Of course, if you enter right now, you have a 1 in 11 chance of winning. But you get my point. So you could have a very easy opportunity to win this squad signed shirt. You see it there in all its glory. And as I understood from a couple of competition winners, if you're called Jack, you have a very high chance of winning these prizes, because the last two contacts I've had were from people called Jack who won these prizes. So congrats to them. There's Jack with his Adam Armstrong signed shirt there. So yeah, just use the QR code and it will take you straight through, or just simply go to footballprizes.co.uk. Right, where to begin? We do have some guests joining us, as well as the beautiful Jack to my left, right, to my left, right, to my left,
Right to your left.
right, to my right. I got to remember I'm looking at the screen. We do have some extra guests join us this evening to give their thoughts on what's happening, because we appreciate with the current run of form, it's getting a little bit out there, isn't it, Jack? Are you feeling it a little bit?
It's.
I've seen your ex posts. They're
I don't know.
spicy.
I thought really hard about playing a character where my ex tweets of what I really think, and I come on here and I just be completely opposite. They're like, yeah, Russ in, that'd be great. But no, it's awful. It's awful, and like to a point where it's not. It's not only bad. It's now at that point. Like I don't care that it's this bad. Like I'm just there numb to it. You just watched the past few vlogs. It gets to a certain point, and I would just
Mm-hmm.
recline, and I'm like, it's over. They're
Yeah,
going to spoil it, and I think that's the crux of it for me. I'm just over it, tired of it, and it's not changing, is it?
it's pretty bleak. It's pretty
What?
bleak. It is kind of rough. I'd see Ben. Ben, what I'll do is I'll stick the link to join in the members section in a bit. So at some point in the show, members will be able to join the show later on. So I did intend to put the link in there and schedule it, but I've just reminded myself I've forgotten. So anyway, I will put
Nice
it in
new
there.
intro though. Nice new intro though. So you
Did you
can
like
do
the
that.
intro?
The
Like
intro's
that?
very nice. Very
Like
nice.
that? Like that? It's now removed my awkward need to think of a one-liner before rolling
I mean, I'm
rolling the
gonna miss
credits. So.
that. I'm gonna miss that. Changing man.
You really enjoyed that a little bit too much, if I'm honest. But yeah, it's always fun to get those things in there. Right, shall we have a quick discussion about the whole kind of outlet? I can see there's there's a comment here from Paul saying embarrassing being a Southampton fan at the moment. It's rough. It's really rough. I saw something you said earlier about a lot of the pundits are just laughing at us now, aren't they? And it's getting quite awkward. I think Jamie Carragher's line of, if it's raining, you put your coat on, kind of alludes to the fact that we're not seeing any changes. But it's so frustrating because of the oppositions we're facing. Like, we could have beaten Liverpool. We could have gotten something at Villa if we had a shot on target, maybe. So it's
Yeah.
just what do you
It's
do, really?
for me, like like when it was bad under Ralph, every so often we win a game, we win two games. You think, okay, it's going to get better now, and then we trip up again. And
Mm-hmm.
like even under Nathan Jones, we won some Premier League games, mate.
Mm,
There weren't many, but we won them.
mm,
And here, it's every moment when you think we can, we actively shoot ourselves in the feet. Like it's
yeah.
ridiculous. Like it's not even at a point where you think, like, what have we had more against us this season? Bad VAR calls or just giving a goal away to an opponent?
Mm, yeah. Yeah. Giving a
So
goal away. Yeah.
literally just giving a goal away. So not only are we losing to other teams, we're losing to referees. Like that's how bad we are at football this season. It's ridiculous, and there's no other way around it. And you watch it week in and week out, and suddenly you'll see it like the last few games. I think the forwards have looked great. I think attacking going forward, don't think there's too much of an issue until we get lackluster and we can't, and we can't feed it through because we're getting so caught up playing it at the back and getting so caught up,
Yeah.
in what we do and failing at it, and it's so frustrating. I feel like some of the signings that we made in the summer, like I think of all the forwards pretty much, Cornet, Brereton Diaz, Archer, all of them. It's kind of hard for them to look any good at all because by the time it gets to them, it's too late, or there's no other options, or we've just not thought about that part of the pitch. It makes no sense, mate, and it's week in, week out. And you get it at Newcastle, you're like fair play. Brentford, you're like should be a bit better, but that's fine, And now you're like, this is just stupid. Like, move along.
It doesn't feel like we've moved on anywhere, does it? It almost feels like we've taken a backward step from Newcastle away because those first 11 minutes that I've gone on about all season, first 11 minutes away at Newcastle, it was so good. 11 versus 11. But it does feel incredibly bleak. Were you surprised that we haven't had anything from the club yet? Any mention, any statement, any vote of confidence? Because they've all come a little bit.
I do think they're truly stuck between a rock and a hard place. Like looking back on it, the decision to give him a contract in the summer, as much as we were all living off that Wembley high thing, Russell's our guy.
Yeah.
It should have been like at least wait till Christmas. Wait until like we're doing okay and it's secure, because we know how tough the league can be, and it's an incredible amount of stubbornness. I honestly thought I gave him so much credit at the beginning of the season to think, do you know what? I feel like when it's not going to go our way, he is going to change something because he knows it's the Prem. He's played in the Premier League. He knows how tough it is. He knows that, and he's played with inside. Like you think of like the Norwich sides that he played in, how sort of football they had to play in any chance to stay up.
Yeah.
And it's like you were in those positions, mate. You know that you can't just stick to one thing or what like you have to adapt.
Yeah.
He's just not doing it.
Is it selfish?
Yeah.
Is it selfish in the terms of like thinking like like everyone's talking about Burnley 2.0 and how this basically puts Russell Martin up for a fantastic job in the future with a group of players who are good enough to play the system. Is that fair? Is that
it? You know what? I was kind of you're almost behind what he says in the way like he's like, okay, his stubbornness is because he believes in what he's doing, and then at the sort of the comments after the last few games, especially sort of biting at the fans a little bit there. There's a part of me that makes me think it is another sort of company where he doesn't, if he sticks to his way, sticks to his guns, it'll look better for him because he didn't change his suit, and this is the sort of manager that he is, and he knows he's got a contract to the buyout, so he's kind of like, well, we go down, I'm still in charge of this team, because they can't get rid of me, or they do get rid of me, and I get to go on holiday with Lucy Pinder for a couple of years.
With £8 million in my back pocket. I don't know how much it would cost to. I've heard 8 million. I've heard 12 million. But naturally, it's a 3-year deal that he signed in August, so it's going to be expensive. Now, what does that look like in terms of the club expenditure? I mean, it wasn't that long ago that we spent 40 million quid on Kamaldeen Sulemana and Paul Onuachu, and aside from a few glimmers from Onuachu in recent games, it's hardly 40 million quid's worth. And then you've got the 50 million quid that you spent on Taylor Harwood-Bellis and Flynn Downs. And they're both players that they're not going to stick around if we go down. And they're not going to be sold for 50 million quid. So these are all things that are going to be glaringly, obviously, a concern for the club, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just, I think you look at every deal so far, and it just seems like an absolute shambles. I mean, I don't want to say it because it sounds, but I'm gonna have to. But the only good signing you think really is Ramsdale, Mateus Fernandez as well. But Mateus was a bit like, I don't even know what would happen there. But Ramsdale, I'm like, that's for me the marquee signing. That's the one that you spent that cash on, and it's what I wanted. It's like that is a big boy move to stay in the Premier League. And if I only have that for a few weeks, do you know what I mean? If I only have that for one season, then we have to get rid of him because yes, you won't go to the Championship. Get Baz back. Like that's it. You had your 9 months of Aaron Ramsdale. It's like, oh, come on, man. Like we finally did one right.
Yeah.
And we don't get to keep him because of how poorly you did everything else.
Yeah.
And, that really sucks. Because we love Ramsdale on this channel, don't we?
We do, we do, and there is a picture that I'm sure you've seen me use on the socials. I can't say too much about it now, but there's something that's coming out in a few weeks or so. But I'm not sure exactly when. But all I can say is I've never met a footballer more hungry to play for this club, face to face.
Yeah.
He said even if his fingers doesn't work, he'll play as a number 8. He just wants to be out there playing. So. Yeah, he's desperate to get back, and I understand he's ready to train again. So hopefully we will see him on Sunday. But as I did promise earlier in the show, we are being joined by some guests to talk about the future of Southampton Football Club. So I'm going to bring in our first guest, and we're very pleased to be joined by Football Martin. How are you doing, Martin?
Hey, how's it going? Yeah, I'm good. Thank you.
Did you like that slick transition? Do you like that? You were in the show without like that.
It's brilliant. Absolutely tremendous.
I've always been pleased by your compliments of it. This is like proper TV, and there we go. There's something there. But
yeah, I always get nervous when I come on the show. I don't get nervous on many things, but I always get nervous on there.
Martin, thank you so much for joining us this evening. As I said earlier in the messages, it's a bit tense at the moment amongst the fan base. It's not a good feeling out there. There's not a lot of joy or positivity to talk about. But I mean, what realistically does the club need to do, and what actions do you think they're going to be taking over the coming weeks?
Well, they've made an absolute mess of it, really, to get this far down the line, and we're nearly relegated. Let's be quite frank about it. Mm-hmm. To get out of this, we're going to have to break some serious records to get out of this. But we're gonna break records for all the wrong reasons, and it's how many records we're going to break under this manager. I've backed Martin for such a long time, and like I'm furious with how he persists to do what he's doing. I've gone on video and I spoke out a little bit, and I kept myself quite quiet for a long period of time, and had a few messages from people telling me to be quiet because people like us, we have an influence on a fan base, but sometimes you have to be honest. And I'm not employed by the club. You're not employed by the club. We can, to an extent, we have to be honest. We can't keep saying you can't keep going against the grain all the time. And the amount of the errors that we continue to make week in, week out will relegate us. But it is humiliating us. And how it would not happen at Mike. It would not happen at any other football club. Jack, it wouldn't, would it?
No, not a chance. This wouldn't happen at Salisbury.
This wouldn't happen at Leeds. It would. It is just unbelievable where we are right now. I love my football club like you two. And everybody tuning into the show, we all love it. But we're literally everywhere I go on social media. Every time I go on TikTok, wherever there is a creator creating a video talking about Southampton and Russell Martin and how bad we are, how many errors we've made, and it all goes back to Newcastle when we were brilliant. Alex McCarthy, first individual error. We go to Brentford, so on. And it's just, you cannot keep doing the same thing. Can you? Just can't. It's gonna end in one place for me.
It's pretty bleak to look at, really. I mean, amongst the areas of the systems, I mean, do you think we've spent irresponsibly in terms of the players that we brought in? I mean, there was a sort of tweet put out. Someone said about John Duran was bought for 15 million quid by Aston Villa. And there he is banging in goals in the Champions League, and here we are with 40 million quid worth of Sulemana Onuachu, and some of those players in and around that who haven't performed as much as we'd hoped they would. I mean, do you think some blame lies at the recruitment side of things?
Yeah, absolutely. I know Russell's the man that's going to take the flak because he's the man at the helm, but the people that helped oversee this transfer window this summer just gone and previous ones that you've got a lot to answer for. Look, I don't think that this summer wasn't brilliant. I think they made some okay signings, but they made some really bad ones as well. Sort of left side, we all knew we were crying out for someone on the left side. We brought in Fraser. He did all right, but he's no better than what we already had. We already had Camel Dean, who's been useless. We brought in Brereton, Diaz. None of them are really good enough for the Premier League, if we're totally honest. Like the Ramsdale, like Jack said, brilliant bit of business, really good. Yuki Sugawara was a good signing. we all cried out for Downs, didn't we? I don't think we expected him to struggle like he struggled, but he's a good player, confidence player, but he's a good player. I still think Harwood Bellis, we all wanted him. He's done all right at times. He's been making errors because of the way we try and play kamikaze style football. It's always going to result in errors playing like we try and play it in the biggest league in the world, and they have a lot to answer for. And that we spent 100 million quid. We just haven't spent it very well, and it just needed to be thought about a bit more. Obviously, we lost out on Delap, and if we'd had Delap, we'd have a far better chance. But when you're averaging to 2 goals a game, and we're not scoring enough goals, we wouldn't need someone to score us 30 goals a season to even give us a chance with how we concede under this manager. Because we conceded 64 last season in the Championship, and this season, I dread to think how it's going to end up. I really do.
Yeah, we even conceded to Rotherham, so it's kind of paints a rather horrible picture. I mean, after what we've seen over the recent weeks, what do you want to see on Sunday? I mean, what realistically? I mean, obviously a win, but is there anything you sort of really want the team to be putting out there?
Fight and desire. I want to see fight and desire. Well, we played all right against Liverpool for periods of the game, but the individual errors are just ridiculous, and just sometimes it's just slow things down and have a bit of a thought and go back to some basics. Joe Tessam said to me, and he said it on air, I was at a service station coming back from Wolves, and he said, just need to go back to basics. And that's what the players need to do. When we were struggling at youth football and sort of like even in men's football, when we were on a bad run of form, we just go back to some basics and try and get the basics right. We come together, have a bit of togetherness and try and stick together. The biggest thing is because the fans, I think his comments didn't help the weekend. We didn't blame the fans. People were saying he blamed the fans. He didn't. He explained what happened, but he didn't need to mention the fans.
No.
And it's kind of he's what everything he built up last year, he's destroying slowly but surely. Not just with the style of football, but it's some of his comments. He just needs to think, and I just hope that in his presser Friday, give credit to the fans that got across the country to watch him, to watch the team the other day and support the club through thick and thin in some horrific weather conditions. And I think he needs to think about what he said. The players need to have a little bit of a thought as well, and just come together and hopefully get the first goal and don't concede too early. Because if we concede too early, we all know what's going to happen to St Mary's. We've seen it under Nathan Jones. It was that Wolves game was horrific, wasn't it? It was horrible that day.
Yeah, absolutely brutal. I mean, I really certainly don't hope we're going to see any kind of tension in the fan base before the game. I'm always under the opinion that you should get it behind the boys. I mean, I don't really care who's in the dugout. I'm still going to support this club.
Absolutely.
I want the team to win. But it's really rough. I mean, there's a comment here from opinionated saying, almost be for the greater good to see us get battered on Sunday and stuff like that. But realistically,
I never want to see us get battered.
No, but I guess
I didn't go to the Chelsea game.
The thought behind that is like, what is going to be the final nail in the coffin for Russell Martin? I mean, do you think anything's going to happen with this 3-year deal? I mean, I understand it's going to cost about 8 to 12 million to get him out of that contract. Can we afford to do that? Should we be making a change?
The silence is deafening, and I think they needed to come out a couple of weeks ago. They need to come out and say, that I think Jim White is one man that leaks quite a bit. He's obviously close to Dragon Solak because he's done an interview with him. He's one of very few journalists that's actually sat down with him. He said today on TalkSport Live, he said that, hope you don't mind me mentioning that, but he was on the radio, and he said he said that the owners are now very aware that the fans, there's a bit of unrest, and they're not happy, and they need the fans behind the manager. And there's only so far that it will be able to go. I can't see us beating Tottenham for love of the money. I think they have too much for us. And if we play like we've been playing, they pick us off, and they're pressed us. They've got energy. They've got loads about them. I think a defeat the weekend will probably be. I think that'll probably be it. I think a lot of fans don't think it will be it. Be interesting to know what the contract was, Mike, as well, because I talked about the contract that it was given. Was that activated because he got promotion, so he was due a pay rise? It was an extended year. I don't know. It'd be interesting. No one ever really come out and said it, did they? I guess, we give him a 3-year deal, but it was like that extension. You already had 3 years, and you'd done a year, and they give him another year. It's bizarre, but
that's a good point.
I think he will humiliate us if he stays as our manager. I do. I love him as a person. He's a great guy, and I think what Enzo Maresca's doing at Chelsea, Leicester fans hated him last year after a period of
Yeah.
time. They hated the football, didn't enjoy it. But look what he's done with Chelsea with a really good group of players when they're fit, strong, powerful, and you can go back to front quick. We just don't have the players to play the way he wants to play. So you need to find somebody that can make it respectable between now and the end of the season. Because the one thing we don't want, and everyone agree, we don't want to be that team that beats Derby's record, because they always said it would never be beaten. Well, if we beat it, it would humiliate us along with the 2 9-0s, but it would never be beaten again, in my opinion.
That is like track to become just known as the worst Premier League team. Do you know what I mean? Like, Southampton are the worst one. They've been in the league a lot, but they relegate with the worst 2 9-0s. Yeah, they suck. But
it's horrible when you
start this show. That's that's a very, very worrying thought indeed. But we do need to pick up points. But just alluding to Chelsea there, I mean, I thought they were fantastic. But even before that sending off, I could have seen us scoring again, which was really frustrating because it kind of killed the game completely for Chelsea as well. Sort of took the spectacle away and just sort of ruined everything, really. So.
But how many games is that Jack Stevens has missed this season now? How many will it be? It's going to be something like, is it 9, 10 now?
I think when his suspension's up, I think it was 43% of the fixtures he's been suspended for.
Outrageous.
Man got a mural in the summer. He got a mural. He's done this.
Unbelievable.
It's
he let everyone down the other night, and Russell put a lot of backed him big time. You know, out of everyone, he's backed him the most, and he let him down massively. But it was an uphill battle as it was. And Chelsea, the best side I've seen in the flesh, by the way. I thought they were unbelievable. I know we were depleted, but they were really, really good. And the way they went back to front and the way they played that possession football was, you can do it when you've got good players. When you've got what we've got, try and find another way, please.
There's something else in there. There's a system in there that will work for these players. It just ain't this one, and it wasn't this one like last season because it didn't. It was literally because the players were above their station last year. I do honestly think if we had somebody else in playing a slightly prettier style, we would have rocked it a bit more. It's just, I just can't be watching it, boys.
Exactly that.
It's a tough watch. It is a really, really tough watch, and to keep creating content, like fair play to keep doing it, like we keep doing it, don't we? But it is. I've never known it. I've never found it so difficult. Because it is really hard because the fan base is so low now. It's the lowest I've seen it for a long time. And I was on my turbo train a minute ago cycling before I come on, and Joy Division come on in my ears, and a few of the songs from the playoff final. And you think it was the most incredible day, and all that hard work we went through last season to get us to where we are, and then we're literally ripping it up and throwing it all away. It's just so disheartening.
It is very, very rough. I think I realised that, the gap between the Premier League and the Championship is real, and I think it's just bigger than ever now. So I think whoever's going up and going down is going to find it particularly hard, but you've got to get really shrewd with business. I was speaking to a Leeds fan earlier, and through another, it's completely unrelated, wasn't anything to do with football. He just happened to be a Leeds fan, like Southampton fan, as you do. And they're having a good season, what they're doing, but they're devastation. They're losing all their best players, and talking about the playoff final. And you're absolutely right. What a fantastic day that was. But hey, we wouldn't have replaced it for anything, even if we knew this was coming. Right? It's still the same kind of thing. So,
yeah, very true.
So absolutely. Martin, thank you so much for joining. Of course,
thank you for having me.
Find Football Martin over on the channels on YouTube and Facebook and TikTok, of course. So definitely go over there and smash a follow, a like, and all those kind of things. But Martin, thank you so much for joining. Any predictions for Tottenham at the weekend before you go?
It feels like it's Al Sacchio, doesn't it? Nobody's really labelled it as that yet, but and Postecoglou can't afford to lose this one. He's got the whole of the fan base on his back at the moment. They've really been questioned over their style in a way he wants to play football. And obviously, Russell's under huge pressure at Southampton. So I think Spurs have such a good side. And when they're at it, they're brilliant. They're such a good side. And I think they'll beat us. I'm not sure how many, maybe 3-1. But I think they will beat us. If they put any press on us and we continue to do what we're doing, it won't be nice.
That's fair enough. Martin, thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me. Cheers.
Cheers.
See you soon. Thank you.
There we go. Football Martin join us live on the show here. It's always good to hear from the extended fan base, and I will put the link in the members section. So definitely go and check that out in a moment. Whilst I try and do this while Jack talks to you about something he has on his mind. It's pretty rough though, isn't it? I think it's always, as Martin alluded to it, in terms of putting out content, putting pictures out on your Instagram, stuff like that, and trying to remain as buoyant, because you're a fan at the end of the day. And I always have this conversation with other people who run football channels. Like, at the end of the day, you're a fan, and you're a fan of the club. You just want to see your club do well, and you get frustrated. And I think ultimately we all want to see this club do well, don't we?
The thing is, like, last season, when you're in, although there were moments where we were struggling when we weren't doing well, you could like sit there and adapt the teams. You're like, it's almost right. They're just little things, and you could think about the tactics and what can make it work. Now it's just like all I'm doing now is making Saki comments on X. Really, that's kind of every so often I think about Southampton a little bit and I throw out a Saki tweet. That's kind of my routine right now. Rather than do anything active or like good about it, I think just do something stupid. Just like, they're idiots. And I think that's a sad thing. Not only do I not care, it's like I don't want to go to away days. But we got like. Looking forward to going to Fulham with you, mate. It's going to be a fun one. I'm not looking forward to go. I'm not looking forward to Fulham. Like, I'm not looking forward to the game, like, at all. And I just think about I like Aston Villa in the week. I was there, Holmes going. I'm so glad I'm not there.
Yeah,
I'm so glad I didn't go. And every game now, it's that I'm so like I missed the Chelsea game. Like I just wasn't feeling great. It was a midweek. I was like, you know what? I'm not up for coming home at almost midnight after watching Southampton and what I know they're going to know it's going to be a bad performance. And I sat at home, and for a few minutes I thought, oh no, I've missed it here, haven't I? 1-0. It's good. It's probably and then what happened? Exactly what was going to happen happened. And I was just like, I'm so glad I didn't go. And if it gets to a point where every week I'm saying I'm so glad I didn't go, why am I buying a season ticket? And if I'm getting to a point where I'm thinking about that sucks. Because I really quite like watching this team and like watching football, but not when it's an absolute like negative to my mental health.
Yeah, totally agree. It's always it's rough when you see the same mistakes over and over. That's what I mean, we are going to talk about some positives, because believe it or not, there are actually some. Hagrid is back training, so his finger is all fixed. If you look closely on the right side of that picture, you'll see a very heavily strapped finger. That is now cleared for takeoff, as they say. So Ramsdale is back in training. So that's a positive. So we should certainly see him at the game on Sunday. And this man here, Nathan Wood, is a baller.
Talk to me about Nathan Wood, because he's looked class from what I've seen. Obviously, it's all been from afar so far, but you saw him in real life. What's he looking like?
Well, I think the big thing for me is the fact that he was in a back three or four against the Chelsea side, and when Jack Stevens got sent off, and he was just like, well, who have we got now? Well, we've got Kyle Walker-Peters playing in the back line. So, he did all right. It did all right, and it could have been a lot worse had it not been for him. So that's a massive positive. Now, what happens when Howard Bellis and Jan Bednarek, we saw that Howard Bellis is back in the squad when Yanni B's fit and ready to go? Are we going to see that change happen again? But ultimately, if you've got options in that back line, then that's great. But I would say don't be concerned the fact that seeing Nathan Wood in the lineup, because he's definitely reliable about there. Same with Ryan Manning. He's been one of our best players this season, hasn't he?
Yeah, it's crazy how well Manning stepped up. And to be fair, there's points last season where people were sort of 50-50 on him, and I think there were those games where he just wasn't closing people down. Somehow this season, it's like how could you not keep up last year, but suddenly this year you're just on it. Great, and look, going forward, great, and he's just stable. I don't fret that side. It's kind of locked down when he's over there. I think it's just nice to have a bit of balance there. And because they go forward, it means the back line got to push up a little bit. Well, it should do, but it just means that there's someone being active back there.
Yeah. But I think with Ryan Manning, it's like, do you remember when you used to watch him last season? Just like, why isn't he putting a tackle in? He's just a bit more with it, a bit more, dropping in there. So Sorry, I haven't been reading over these chat sections as well. Look at this. Spurs fan chipping in. This is the sort of game we could lose. And bear in mind, our record at St Mary's ain't great. 2 wins in the last 9 visits. Wow, that's well, yeah, fine. Well, both clubs are kind of in a bit of disarray at the moment. So who knows what will happen? We got Ben in the green room. He's in the green room. Right, Ben. Put your phone down so it's stable, because people are going to get seasick if you're holding it like that. There we go. Nice one. I'll come to you in just a minute, Ben. We have a member of the channel, Ben, and ready to go. I'll be there in a away corner. Fantastic. Chapel End feels like an away game because we get outsung. Oh, that's a bit, yeah, kind of a bit weird where they're put now. Anyway, right then. Are we ready? I think Ben's ready. He's all set up.
If we're still talking about Southampton, I've just cracked a second beer, so yeah, I'm somewhat set up for it.
Right, Ben, I'm bringing you in. Okay, you ready? Everyone, give a warm welcome. You can find my graphic. There we go. Warm welcome to Ben. Ben,
hello.
How are you doing?
Losing hope.
Losing hope. What,
But
you dressed up just for us.
He's festive.
No, I work in a nursery, so I wear Christmas jumpers every day in December.
Oh, nice. I did wonder when was it too early, because I've got a Saints Christmas jumper. I should have that one now. We'll be the 11th.
I've got a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles one, but it's got too much green on it. It would interfere with the background.
Christmas jumper day is officially tomorrow, so
It is. You're right. You're right, because my wife's off to work in a Christmas jumper tomorrow. I didn't know it was officially the day. Wow. Okay.
It's officially tomorrow, but I asked my deputy manager if I can wear them like 2 weeks ago. So
any excuse to get
you're
it on.
looking sharp. You're looking sharp as ever, and all that kind of stuff. Ben, tell us, how have you felt over the last few weeks being a Saints fan?
yeah. Feels like Nathan Jones all over again, but worse. But
yeah, the Nathan Jones thing has been brought up. I think with Russell Martin, it's kind of got the bank of he's got us up through the playoffs and that good feeling of the unbeaten run, all kind of. So it's a little bit different, but
he's a solid championship manager.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, people are comparing him to what Company did, but Company's gone to Bayern and is doing good.
Mm. Do you see Russell Martin do something similar?
Yeah,
No.
To be fair, I do feel like if Russell Martin went to Bayern Munich, he'd probably do all right.
He'll be the next Barca manager.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually want to backtrack to something you mentioned earlier.
Okay.
I've commented like 4 times.
Oh gosh. Okay.
The captaincy.
Okay. Yes.
Strip him.
Yeah, it's got to go.
Okay.
Strip that man of the captain's armband and give it to someone like Jan Bednarek. And I'm not really the biggest Bednarek fan, but he'd be a better captain than Stevens. He's played more games. But yeah, he's injured at the moment.
Yeah.
But then give it to someone like Walker Peters, who's starting every game, or Ramsdale, or like a goalie or something. Like the goalie's arguably the most important player on the pitch.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look, when Villa get a free kick in the opponent's half, you have Emiliano Martinez up halfway up the pitch, giving them directions for the wall.
Mm.
It's
that way.
You give it to either Jan Bednarek when he's fit and healthy, or players that are guaranteed to not get a red card for pulling someone's hair.
Mm.
I was talking to this to an Arsenal fan at work, and I said, look, if you're going to get a red card, punch the guy. It's just one more ban, one more max ban, 6 games instead of 5 or 4, 1 or 2 more games.
I reckon that they might look at that and give him a couple of extra games if it was a deliberate. But just saying. But I hear what you're saying.
Just sneeze.
Yeah.
Like.
Ben, you do know how VAR works, don't you? You do
yes.
know. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
I was actually watching a video where they were interviewing, I want to say Vinnie Jones.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And they were saying, what changes would you make to VAR? Right, which is a good question. This, not offside, right? If you're in line or even just like part of you is touching your player, you're onside.
Yeah.
This, offside.
Okay. So
Like,
you're talking about thickening the lines.
Yes, like so if you're in front and not a single part of you is in line or behind the opponent, you're onside. Like if you're like that or like that, like you're behind them or your foot's behind them or whatever, you're onside. But if you're like clearly in front of them like that, you're offside.
And that's the only thing Vinnie Jones said about changing VAR.
Oh, he said he doesn't like it, blah blah blah. But that was like the change he'd make to modern football, and also like red card for diving.
Okay,
I'm just going to let
and chairs section.
Really irritating me. I'll be back in a few minutes.
No worries. I didn't think we were going to get drawn to VAR, but here we are.
I mean, it's always comes back to VAR, pal. Always comes back to VAR. And somehow it always comes back to Vinnie Jones every time.
Yeah.
Let's be fair. There's one man that would have never survived in the era of VAR. It's Vinnie Jones.
Yes.
He couldn't really survive out of the exact era he was in. He's perfectly suited for his time and place.
Yeah. I don't know if I should take off Ben's back doors or not and just leave him on screen. I don't know.
Weird thing to say. Weird thing to say.
Oh, don't do that because they'll clip it now.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Don't clip it, but also at the same time, don't say that.
It's true. He's back.
He's back.
There we go.
The captaincy needs to be discussed.
Mm-hmm. So what do you want to see on Sunday? And what do you think is going to happen?
Two of I mean, I'm glad we've got good squad. Like we've got massive squad depth.
Mm-hmm.
Like we've got 4 goalies to choose from. Yes, 2 of them are bad, or 3 of them are bad. But then we've got Ramsdale. So
yeah.
I think it's hard because, like you said, Tottenham are in well, they're not really, but like they're in a similar-ish situation.
Mm-hmm.
Ramsdale comes back, we're going to do well. I think if you put Ramsdale and give him a bit more, like the defenders actually listen to him.
Yeah.
Then we're good. Like it's not Ramsdale that's bad; it's the defense.
Yeah. It's more of a commanding presence. I think he's a bit more vocal, isn't he? Yeah.
Sure. He cares more than McCarthy, Lumley, Bazunu.
So, if hypothetically, just to finish off, Ben, if you were to see a managerial change, who would you like to see come in?
One that's not really been mentioned too much, Graham Potter.
Is it not being mentioned too much?
Not too much. I feel like it's more like pushing away to like the ones who have been out of management longer than him.
Okay.
And I mean, he was in a similar situation with Brighton and did well for them.
No, they're a well-run club. There's differences there.
I live 20 minutes from the stadium. They're not really. A 5-minute walk from the training ground. They're not. I mean, they're well-run-ish, like compared to us. Yeah. But I think Graham Potter coming in, if you're going to play out from the back, you want a manager who knows how to chop and change from playing out from the back.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Like Graham Potter, he can play out from the back well. Like he can organise playing out from the back well. But if it's not working, he can chop and change to not playing out from the back as much. Whereas Martin is like, we're playing out from the back and we're flipping, sticking with it.
Yeah.
We're not gonna like it. Even if we had 11 men for that whole game, we'd still lose. I'd say 5-2.
Yeah, it's pretty rough.
because of the way we're playing out from the back. It's not good. It shouldn't happen. I don't like watching it.
No, it's been pretty rough. But Ben, thank you so much for joining. Thanks for jumping on.
Great.
And, okay, oh, look at that! It showed the Christmas tree as well. I was wondering what that light was. I thought you were watching some action thing on the TV.
Well,
I didn't realize that's a
Fun
glorious
fact,
tree, by the way.
I actually am.
Oh, okay.
I'm watching Squats on Netflix.
Class, George.
Good watch.
Fair enough.
I recommend it to everybody.
We are the best side watch channel you could possibly have.
I paused it for you guys, just so you
thanks,
know.
man. I
I
appreciate
paused it.
That
Pause.
might be the greatest compliment we've ever received. I'll pause SWAT for you.
I hate pausing shows because I get confused on where I'm at.
Okay. You're
So-
on Matchday Vlogs at the moment, but you're just
No, I
because-
understand that, but like
Yeah.
in the show, like in the continuity of the show, I get
I see.
confused on where I am.
So you need a
If it's
recap.
paused. Yeah, pretty much. I'm gonna have to rewind like 15 minutes.
So if anyone from Netflix is watching, basically if you pause something, you need a red button or something you press that then
Yeah.
gives you a recap of the
Oh my
series
God.
so far.
I'm
Just
you know
an
what?
idea.
I'm gonna now write an email to Netflix saying if you pause for 5 minutes or longer, you should have a option to recap what you've watched already.
Exactly. Look at that. We're
Especially
changing
with
the world,
WWE going to Netflix in January.
Necessary. Well, this whole don't
It
worry
is necessary.
because by then this channel's going to have made the change as well. With January, this turns into
Ben.
two
January
match day
transfer
grapples.
window.
Yeah,
Yeah.
match day grapples. It's going to be great.
Go
I'm
away.
free in the January transfer window. Every live stream. Just letting you know.
Amazing. Cheers, Ben. Thanks,
In a bit.
Bye
Cheers,
bye.
fella.
There we go. Fantastic. Always enjoy a quick visit from Ben there. I feel like we went off on a tangent a little bit. But even still. There's a few names potting around here. Do you know how much we haven't talked about Spurs and we're 43 minutes into a live show?
Are we doing lineups and stuff like that this week, or is this?
Yes. Is that the answer? Paul Garrett's saying he wants Graham Potter. Well, he's saying Graham Potter's going to West Ham. I think you're probably right. David Moyes. Do you know anyone? I just don't understand who's going to come in though. Who would come in? You get guaranteed relegation on your CV, or the greatest escape ever.
That's the thing I look at, right? Is if you're at this point, who in this season has survived it with the same manager? If it goes this bad and you need a great escape, who does the great escape with the same manager that it starts with?
Mm-hmm.
It just doesn't happen. And there's a big part of me that thinks that you get that new manager in who takes all that pressure off the back line, passing around at the back. Then suddenly, where they're not being relied on to do that much work, suddenly they can sort of engage with defending a bit more and like keep control of the back line. Suddenly, if they're not dropping clangers every single week, maybe they go up a little bit because they think, right, we're not losing games because of me every week. The ego doesn't take that much of a hit every time. Maybe just put it on like the front. It takes it needs to take that. And there's a big part of me that was thinking that you can't get rid of Russ because the players are so intertwined with that, and maybe that still will be a big thing. But that's why you need to get that name in that's going to take control of it. It's not about liking; it's about doing your job and doing the right job. And I feel like you get a manager like Moyes, like Potter, someone who's they've been at big teams, they've been at decent teams, they've been at rubbish teams, and they always kind of get a job done, even if it's boring and you don't like looking at it.
Yeah.
So for me, it needs to happen. But at the same time, it's a lot of money from the club. There's a part of me that thinks it could be even one of those weird games where we get a draw at the weekend and he still goes on Monday. I think there's a part of me that thinks that maybe they're just trying to figure out who's available, when's the best time to move. Because is your first game at Southampton the best one to be Spurs at home? Against a struggling Spurs side, or just something a little bit, bit more low key. Fulham away. That's not a bad first punt.
Who knows what they'll look at? So Benston, look at Jose Mourinho, Koeman. Wow.
No, Koeman's in the Netherlands, is he not?
Oh yeah, national coach, isn't he?
Fuel's free.
Sure. That was the other thing. Like the years that we were complaining about Claude Puel, I go, oh, we're in 8th, but it's
But
boring.
here's the thing. What do we always say? History's going to look so kindly on Pure, and it will. But you have to. Here's the thing. He was relatively bad. Now he's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
No, he's great. But at the time, he was relatively bad considering what we had and what we could be doing. But even then, we were still probably a bit much considering what we did get out of it.
Yeah.
It's everything that's happened since really has made him less relatively bad and maybe more relatively pretty good.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean.
Yep.
I know what you mean, but it's pretty bleak. I just don't understand how, who we're going to attract if we are to make a change. We do have another guest.
Get us Rafa.
We do possibly have another guest joining us. Just moving some things around. But what? I don't know where to start the lineup thing now. No, because they may be joining any second. But what I'll do? Should we start the lineup? And then
I feel we just rattle off our lineup because does it matter?
That's true.
Does it matter?
Stick your chosen 11s into the chat section now. We're going to do this fairly quick and get all things up and ready to go. So let's bring in... Where's my banner for that? I had an overlay. I did.
He had an overlay, guys. He had one.
Overlay. There we go. I've got it. There we go. Lovely stuff. Right, Jack. Let's be really positive and think that Ramsdale is jumping back in.
And can I also double up on my want that the follow chant should end with "and we've got Rambo in goal," because I feel like Aribo having 2 songs is a bit much considering one's really, really good.
Okay.
So it should be follow. We're the best team on the South Coast. We're bloomin' dynamite. And we got
rated PG.
And we got Rambo in goal.
Yeah, love it. Talk
Easy
to me.
peasy.
Who are we putting in this back line? Is Yanni because the presser for this game is tomorrow. At 1:30, which is why we're having the preview today, which makes a lot of sense, of course. Yes.
Oh yeah, I love that. I love that ad that's playing at the bottom of the screen.
Great. It's really quite distracting. Let me put that there. Oh, it's not long enough.
Can you not just click the little X? There's a little X in the corner.
Can I click that X?
Who knows?
Is anyone curious to have a look at the ad? I don't know. Do we want to see what's on there?
They're not paying us, brother. Get them off my screen.
There you go. Have I done it? I've done it.
Yeah. Right.
I've gone and did it.
If we're doing what I think most likely might be happening, I think it's going to be Kyle Walker-Peters, Wood, Harbour Bellis, Manning.
Okay. Don't hate that. Kyle Walker-Peters.
And this is the game where Russ goes, boys, we're not passing it around at the back. If you get it, you play it out. You spread it straight to the wings. We get it out of there.
Yeah.
You let the midfield deal with that. If it comes to the back line, you throw it up to the field.
Oh, he's there. I'm starting to get worried then. So I'm like, is he even in there? Oh, no. God, that's so wrong. Go away.
Here's the thing, guys. Watching this channel and seeing how split the edits are and things, you'd assume Mike's pretty tech savvy. I've seen that man walk with his phone in the city.
I've walked into a lamppost on the way home from a game. That's what I've done. And right, anyway,
Newcastle was pretty much me stopping Mr. Magoo going in front of buses.
It's a miracle I'm alive.
It is, man. It really is. I'm very grateful for it.
That night was wild, and Yaz can really drink Guinness. That's what I'm going to say. Manning.
Kale, what happy? Is he a basmati rice?
There we go. Right, I'm going to.
Really want you to watch that ad.
That's about lineup, but we're going to continue the lineup because we've got a guest who's managed to jump on, and we're very, very pleased to have him join us to give his thoughts on the current predicament and, of course, the future of this man here. So, without further ado, Rob, welcome to the show.
Yes.
How are you? Thank you so much for for getting us in. I appreciate tonight's been a bit hectic for you, and please,
No,
no
it's
need to
absolutely no
apologise at
problem.
all. It's always a pleasure to have you on.
No problem, mate.
It's a bit bleak at the moment, Rob, isn't it? Realistically,
Yeah.
how do you see the next few weeks going in terms of what's going to happen? I mean, we're looking at the
Yeah.
weekend's game up against Postecoglou side, who are struggling a little bit. Even if we get a good result, how do you see this panning out?
Yeah, I mean, it's really hard. I mean, I can't believe we're in this situation again. It feels like if you were to pick me up and drop me back in 2022, I wouldn't know if anything's changed, right? We've got a manager who's struggling at this level coming up from the Championship, who's failing really to kind of put his philosophy into practice in the Premier League. I think that Christmas is the worst time to sack a manager because they haven't got much time on the training pitch. But
a lot of games
a lot of games. I don't know. I mean, the next couple of weeks is going to be really tough because I've been talking to people and I definitely see it from both sides in terms of I love you too, Ben. In terms of keeping him and getting rid of him, right? There's two different ways to look at it. You can look at it from the perspective that the football's disgusting, it's horrible, he needs to go now, which I do think, as I said after the Villa game, that was kind of a breaking point for me. I do think that this football just isn't working in the Premier League. We need to cut our losses and get a new manager in. The other side of it is, okay, well, it's going to cost us probably 10 to 12 million to sack Russell Martin. It's going to cost us maybe another 5 million, let's say, to hire a new manager. Just spilling some numbers out. That's the average cost of hiring a new manager from a different club. It obviously depends on the release clauses. We're already in a tight financial situation with PSR. I think that's why the club have been pushing to get a revenue in commercially. So, for example, the pub opening up on Sunday. You also have like the fan zones they've been building. They've been building all of that to get more commercial revenue into the club so that we're a bit easier on the PSR. That's what I would say anyway. You see it with all the other clubs in the Premier League and Championship. So I see it from both sides, and it's really hard because I'm very down the middle because it's definitely not 3 million. It's definitely not. I think after he signed his he's not on £1 million a year. Let's just say that, and he signed a 3-year contract. So yeah, I reckon it will at least be 10 million. So yeah, I see it from both sides. It's really tough. I think a heavy defeat to a struggling Tottenham side would probably be enough, but I don't want the club to sack Martin if they don't have someone readily available to come in.
Agreed.
Because one thing which Martin does have, which I'm quite surprised about, is the backing of the squad. And that says a lot. I mean, you can't just say on Twitter, you can't just go on Twitter and say, sack him, get Lallana in as a bloody player manager, because that's just ridiculous. Like, that is just...
But you never know. That sounds like a great escape to me.
It's great, yeah, great escape. Great escape from a relegation battle in the Championship, maybe. But it's just tough because I think he should go, but only when a manager becomes readily available. Let's be real, we're not going to get Potter. We're not going to get a big name. It probably will be another Championship manager, to be honest with you. It could be Carlos Corberán for West Brom. Managers like that. So I don't know what, Jack. I know you're very vocal about Russell Martin out right now, which is completely fair enough and fine.
Oh, I hate it.
I'm struggling to keep him on track.
I understand that it is a rock and a hard place because getting rid of him is going to be so difficult. And who is out there who wants to be a part of this awful situation? But the same part of me that thinks 4-0 every week is the same part of me that thinks, why won't one of those guys come in and just step in and that bounce happen? Look at Leicester. They got the Tinkerman and then they won the league. Why can't that happen?
Yeah, true. I mean, Ranieri's very proven. I think they were lucky to get Ranieri.
Exactly. And it's stuff like that, man. Like you're right. The reality of it is we're probably going to get Corberán. And I remember last season seeing him at the touchline going, I hate this guy. He sucks. Like every second I saw of it, I was like, I would hate that. And I would hate the fact that he would come and I'd probably love it. That would be the other thing. I
actually think Corberán, if we were to go back to the Championship and chop in the Championship, I do actually think he'd probably be the best option because he was working on pennies at West Brom.
Yeah,
absolute pennies, and he got them into the playoffs. And then you can kind of say the same about Martin. He got him I think it was 6 points off playoffs the season before we got him when he finished 10th. But it's just really difficult because I don't think Sport Republic can afford. Yeah, I don't think Sport Republic can actually afford in terms of the fan base to go shopping again in the Championship. I just don't think they can, because I think people's patience. I think people were willing to give Sport Republic time after the promotion. I mean, that day at Wembley was huge. If we weren't to go up financially, we would have been ruined. Absolutely, completely decimated. We were ruined. And I think if we were to go shopping in the Championship and get this one wrong again in the Premier League, then I think fans will just lose them. And I think when you want to build a long-term project like they want to do, and you want to involve lots of different clubs, and obviously a multi-club model takes time to build, right? And they want the support from the fans, because if they lose the support of the fans, they're going to lose the club. They are. The atmosphere around the club will be horrible. And as I said, they need all this commercial revenue. They obviously do, with the amount that they're pushing it. So if they were to get it wrong again, and if we were to go down again, and then fail to get promoted, which we shouldn't do with the squad that we have, because no one should want to buy these guys, then, you know, I don't know. I think Sport Republic would have to put us up on sale. But I think this is a key pivotal moment to see where Sport Republic lies. Are they, you know, into saving money and not sacking him and kind of allowing this to continue? Or actually, with PSR, are they just going to save him for next season? In March, Russell Martin could be the most hated man at Southampton. Or he probably already is, but he could be worse. Because, you know, we probably wouldn't have won by then. So it's really hard, mate. It's really hard. I mean, that's my overall thoughts. I just think it's I would hate to be a decision maker at Sport Republic right now.
Well, you bring up the point of that he's got the players on side, and I totally agree with that. I haven't seen any, aside from the players that aren't currently playing, is sort of perhaps, you know, Leslie Ugachukwu had a few ropey moments, Maxwell Cornet. I haven't really seen much of Ben Brett and Diaz, like you say, but, you know, all the players are coming out in strong favour of him. You know, I had a couple of moments with one or two, and they're so behind him. And even when they're seeing these mistakes happening, they're not blaming the systems, or they're not looking despondent on the fact that the football they're playing. The outside eyes looking in, the football pundits are talking about Southampton being a laughing show of the Premier League, which, in fairness, we are looking at the current results and the mistakes we're making. But if you're the club and you're thinking, right, I'm going to sack a manager who all of those players are behind, you've got another difficult situation, because whoever's going to come in is going to be changing a lot of things for a want of better results, with a squad base which was fully behind the system. So that's a really difficult position to be in.
I mean, do you remember when we had Ralph and all the players were saying when they join us? I'm not sure, obviously, how true it is, but they were like, "Oh yeah, as soon as I spoke to the gaffer, you know, I really wanted to come." They've said that about Martin every single time. I mean, look at Flynn Downs. The only reason why he didn't go to Ipswich is because of Russell Martin, which I don't know if that's completely true, but you know, so it's a very easy thing to say. Or loads of players coming in. Ramsdale, for example. I don't think we would have been able to get Ramsdale if it wasn't for Russell Martin. And you have to give Russell Martin credit, because he's obviously an incredible manager. But on the footballing side of things, I think good managers adapt. Personally, I don't think you can be a good manager and be one size fits all with a system. I think all good managers have had to adapt over time, and really, you have to adapt with the tools you're given with. You're not going to try and put up a bloody shelf with a shovel, are you, or anything like that? No. So
we can try, but no.
You can try. Probably end up with a hole in the wall, but you need to. You really need to adapt, and I think Martin just failed to do that. And I've been very vocal in the past. I'm a big fan of Russell Martin. I mean, at the moment, maybe not, but I think last season, I think he did a really good job with what he was given in a really tough Championship with a new squad, and he had to inherit a club that was ultimately on the downfall. I'm sure it was very negative. Half the workforce got laid off. It must not have been a nice place to work. And so to turn that around and then get us up promoted this season's great. And he gave me probably the best day of my life at Wembley. I thought it was amazing.
Yeah.
But at the moment, I still think of Southampton as a Premier League club. I can't see us go down and be content with that.
Right.
It just
doesn't
work for me. And I feel, but the person I feel the worst for in this entire situation is Dragan Solak, because he's seen millions and millions of pounds pissed up the wall by whoever at Sport Republic, whoever the decision makers are, whether that's Rasmus, although he's doing really well, Gustepe at the moment, whether that's Henrik. And I feel bad for him out of all of them. I would not like to see all my money pissed up on Paul Onuachu and Kamaldeen Sulemana.
Hey,
Yeah.
calm down, pal. Leave Tour Paul out of this. You know he's coming in
Come on,
clutch.
Tour Paul's been brilliant this season in the 30 minutes he's played.
Oh, class 30 minutes though. You don't say they weren't class 30 minutes.
Good.
You can
He's
run.
good value for money.
We can finally find out you run. I mean, while we're talking about players, does any of this? I mean, like you said earlier, it's a terrible time to sack a manager going into the Christmas run. Does anything get fixed in January? I mean, can you see anything? I mean, with players, because I don't see anyone rushing in to put a bid on the table of Calmadine Sulemana. I think it'll be difficult with Maxwell Cornet's loan deal because they've got to find another club who's going to want him. Otherwise, they say, well, you can keep him for the rest of the season. So there's all those kind of complications. But do you see the January transfer window coming and things being able to be done that will work with Russell Martin? So, it's throwing good money after bad, isn't it? It's where we're at the moment.
So Sport Republic will look at last year and see we spent 40, 50 million, however much it was, on... Well, yeah, I mean, I might even throw Charlie Alcaraz in this and say 60, 65 million. And look at all three of those signings. Have they helped us over the mid to long term? No. Charlie, sure, did things in the Premier League, but I didn't think he was crap in the Championship. He was rubbish, right? Yeah. He was terrible.
There's a liability,
and Mateus Fernandez is 100% a much better player. So you could say Charlie Alcaraz was a failure. You could say that, or ultimately a failure. You could say that Paul Onuachu was ultimately a failure. He is at the moment.
Wow,
he is a failure at the moment until he starts scoring goals. Jack, he's still.
He did, mate. He scored loads of goals last season. Granted, they went for us.
Granted, he's getting his hairline done, sure, but and then you got Calmadine, who's just shit. I've given Calmadine too many chances. I think he's crap. I can't believe we turned down £30 million for Calmadine Sulemana last summer, by the way, from Everton.
Oh yeah,
that's the first I've heard of this. This is
that came out like one of the last days of the window because Everton wanted a winger. I can't remember who they ended up signing, but they put like 25-30 mil on the table or something like that. But yeah, anyway, it's just they'll look at that window and they'll think, okay, well, we spent £65 million, none of the signings worked, and then we went down and we struggled financially to get new signings in. Due to that fact that we've pissed off all this money. So were they going to look at that and just kind of succumb to relegation? Maybe. As I said, I think the only way really that we do move in the market is if Cornet and Ugachukwu leave. I can't believe Ugachukwu has been a failure, by the way. This kid's been starting for Rennes since he was like 16. He's actually a really good player. Well, he was for Chelsea last season, when he played, and he was really good for Rennes, but for us, I can't believe it's not worked. I thought when he signed on deadline day, I think it was on loan, I couldn't believe it. I thought this is like Downs will struggle to get into the team. I can't believe how poor he's been.
Yeah, he looks lost though. Whenever he's played in a system, it just kind of like he loses the ball and then he's despondent and then sort of jogs and So whether or not he's just trying to learn the system, but it's
I don't know. Are we going to be active? I don't know. I mean, didn't Martin say that we're going to have people helping us? I mean, I don't even know if I was a footballer, because let's be honest, we're not going to sign from like the top of the Premier League. Like we signed David Brooks on loan in January last year because he was at Bournemouth and struggling for game time. Honestly, I don't know who we could get in that would actually improve us. It's really hard. I mean, for me, I think it's depressing as a fan base that we're going through this again, but it's worse somehow. And we're going to end up in, Championship sure is fun for a bit, but not if you're in there every year. I mean, I don't care what Leeds fans say. If they're happy to be in the Championship for 2 seasons, then brilliant. They can be in the Championship for as long as they like. But for me, I think Saints are a Premier League club. I mean, we're 11th in the all-time Premier League table. We were in Europe in 2016. Why can't we get back there? And for an ownership group that talks an awful lot about being a top 10 Premier League club, they sure as hell don't have a clue how to get there. And if this goes wrong again, which it looks like it is, I would not be opposed to Sport Republic putting us back for sale, but they are going to get nowhere near their original investment. And that is the damning part. We could easily get stuck with them. But I think commercially, the club's in a better place than it ever has been. That's one thing I will say. I think there's, the fan zones are brilliant. I'm sure the Dell is going to be great, the pub that they're opening up on Sunday. But one thing I will say is that it's an absolute disgrace that they're charging £30 for a quarterfinal. That stadium is going to be empty. That will have I think
Tickets
it'll
still
be like
available.
20,000. I
I
reckon.
don't know what can I say. I forgot about that game until this morning, and I thought,
Yeah.
oh, for God's sake.
I'm not going. Honestly, I'm not paying. I'm not paying like a good chunk for a season ticket, and then being charged £30 on top. I'm just not bothered by that at all. I think
I would
really
hate
bad.
to pay that much money and then have to go and sit by the away end because somebody thought it'd be funny.
Yeah,
I'm
literally.
sorry.
Imagine.
Cheers, Mike.
Amusing.
Cheers,
Couldn't do
brother.
that.
But the away end, let's be honest, the away end is going to be all around the ground because
Yeah.
the only people who's going to be interested. I mean, yes, you need to have support purchase history to buy a ticket, but they normally find a way, don't they?
I think they'll end up giving because in the Carabao quarterfinals, don't they get additional capacity? So I reckon Liverpool
they
end
had
up
all the
getting
back
20%
end, didn't they?
capacity.
Yeah.
So they're going to get
Okay.
like maybe 6,000, maybe
Yeah.
6,000.
Well, the ticket prices for the Swansea FA Cup game. I mean, that's if you're not a season ticket holder, that's £25, which
Yeah, I mean that's
Swansea.
FA Cup.
So Brentford have just released this thing this season where they're freezing season ticket prices. I think for the next year or two, they're also allowing kids or juniors, anyone under 18, can go to Brentford for under £10. I mean, why aren't we doing stuff like this? I want to see, the club really try and fill up the stadium because when we're crap, the stadium doesn't get filled, and then that's going to be commercially they're just going to be losing money on that.
Yeah.
I do actually think the Northern Wall's been good this season, but they just haven't had that much to cheer about.
Yeah,
It's waiting, isn't it? Every game, it's waiting. I'm like, if it goes, it's going to be so good in front. And the Everton game, it was class that being down the side, but they're just not being given it.
When Mateus Fernandez scored the goal to put us 2-1 up against Liverpool, pretty lively then, like that. Also, right after the light show against Chelsea, actually, to hear the Northern Wall singing "They Were the Saints" was overpowering the music they were playing. So
when I saw clips,
saw
clips of the laser show, that is when I realised I'm glad I didn't go to this game. I was like, oh, it's over then, is it? All right, good. Before we kicked off, good.
I drove because of the trains. So for me, it's to every home game. It's about an hour and a half drive. So I drove hour and a half after work for the Chelsea game. And I got there and we went 1-0 down. I was thinking, like, why am I here? I dragged my girlfriend down as well. I thought, why am I here? 1-0, you're like, oh yeah, brilliant, this is great. And then from there, I was just sat there at 4-1. I'm just thinking, why the fuck have I bothered again?
That's it. That's it. That was me for the Liverpool game. I was just sat back in my seat going, what's the point? What's the point of us spending our hard-earned money, taking our time out, like of our normal everyday life, spending time with people that we love to watch this nonsense, to watch people actively give goals away?
Well, I couldn't believe it against Villa when. Were you guys at Villa?
No, we missed that.
So at the end, basically, they came over. And fair play to Martin, he came over and clapped. There was people clapping, like fine. There was people booing at the front, fine. But then you had obviously, I don't condone this in any way, but you had guys at the front who were, telling the players where they can get off, right?
Really?
And then Ryan Manning turns around and tells one of them to F off. It all happened, and it's just like it's so sad because this is a group of players which last season I fell in love with, and I don't understand why we keep putting ourselves in positions where there's going to be a fracture between the squad and the fan base. It's just so frustrating. I turn around to my girlfriend. My girlfriend and her family all live in Aston. Okay, so they're all massive Villa fans. Okay, I turned around to them and I said, "Why can't Saints ever be half decent? Like, I'm not even looking for us to be, top 6. I'm not looking for us to be even top 10. I said, why can't Saints just be half decent? Give me a couple wins, 12th place, whatever. Like, why can't it just work? Why do we always have to do it the hardest way?
Give a good game as well. It's rough. I mean, I remember last time we were at Villa and they won 1-0. We did nothing. And here we are again. They won 1-0. We did nothing. Not a shot on target. It's
never seen a score at Villa Park. And then I have to go back to her house. We're getting a takeaway, and I've got a little cousins calling me everything and taking them off and all that. It's just like sometimes you have to stop yourself.
It's character building, Rob.
Character building, definitely. But
we've got so much character. Saints fans are full of character.
That's what I mean. It's just nuts, isn't it? Why can't we just have it easy for once? It's just. Yeah, that's so true. They give us a faint glimmer of hope. It's so true. They do. And like we go 1-0 against Chelsea. You think, okay, 20 minutes has been really, really good.
Yeah,
And
like scoring.
But do you know what?
And then Lumley bloody decides to go walkies, and it's just like
that's the thing. This is how you know that it's really bad. Under, like, let's say under Ralph, even when it was bad, you might win a game or two, and you think, all right, well, it might turn around here. With this season, it's not even a game or two; it's 15 minutes in a game. You think, we might do so, and then that, and it's gone, and that's every week. Every week, there's like you don't get that glimmer of going home because you've not gotten anything out of it. It's like 15 minutes. Like, why can't you play for that for the rest of the game? It literally, that's how the season started. 10 minutes against Newcastle, wicked. Rest of it shocking, and that's in every single game. 10 minutes of like pretty good. That never mind.
Well, Jack, the weird thing is this team does know how to get results. They do know how to win games. They went 25 games. The majority of the squad went 25 games unbeaten. And I know it's the Championship, but there's still things which do translate between Championship and Premier League. Like your mental attitude, for example. The players are obviously so low on confidence right now. And they're in a system where it really exposes that. If you're not confident and you're not 100% sure in terms of what you're doing, and you don't commit to it 100%, you're going to get punished. And I do feel like with some of the players in the team, they're not 100% confident in what they're doing. And a lot of the players come out and they back the manager, they back the style of play, which is fine. They can do that. But I don't know if they really truly know that they are 100% committed. We're given them.
They don't back themselves.
Yeah,
that's it. They could back the system, but if you can't back yourself, and Rob, you're absolutely right, and that's what just drives me mental. Like, you think of the mistakes from the back that we've had. Well, maybe if you went a few games not putting them under pressure like that, maybe you don't put all that pressure on them for a few games. Maybe they'll stop making a few mistakes because suddenly they don't have the ball 90% of the time, so you're not getting that many mistakes. It's just absolutely mad. And I thought he'd be better than this. I thought after last season, those little tweaks that we made during the run, that just to try to adapt and make sure we kept hold of things. There was times in there you think, okay, he's smart enough to adapt this team. And this season, it's just like, I've got a contract, bollocks to you lot. This is how we're playing, for better or worse. And if you told me at the start of the season we're going to go down, but Russ is still going to say, I'd be like, well, we finished 18th and we've just missed out. We've had an all right season. We were battling with it. I'd understand it. But we're going to finish worse than Derby. If he stays there, it's going to happen.
We are projected 12 points.
And that's just like taking away the Wembley Trophy.
Yeah, it is.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
if
you don't stay up regardless, it kind of makes it a bit null and void anyway. But doing it so poorly, you didn't earn that. You might as well give it. You might as well have given it to Leeds and let Leeds go because you've not deserved it. And that's the saddest thing.
I mean, going back to the whole Martin conversation, I think I'm still really torn because if you look at Luton. So Luton have gone down with a very similar squad to the one that got them promoted. They still got Adebayo, who scored 10 Premier League goals last year, and some of our fans were saying we should go out and buy Adebayo. He's crap, and they're in the relegation zone, close to the relegation zone, and they stuck with Rob Edwards when they got relegated. Obviously, I don't think that will happen to Saints because we're better than that. I think I'd hope so anyway, but it just does make you kind of wonder, the what ifs. What if we don't act now? And that will all be going through Henrik Kraft, Phil Parsons, Dragan Serlax, Rasmus Ankerson's head right now. And I wouldn't want to make a call on it. I think I'm very central on the situation. I do think it is right for him to leave, but only at the correct time. And I wouldn't sack him if it meant that the club was then in a difficult financial situation because of that. Because let's face it, how many points are we adrift now? 8 points adrift. 8 points.
I think 11 points is the.
I know there's still a long way to go, but I don't see us clawing that back with the quality of the Premier League at the moment. So I wouldn't want to put the club in financial risk going down next season, or this season rather, to play in the Championship next season, to sack Martin, and then get someone in who potentially doesn't do the job either, and then we have to sack them again, like we'd have to do with Nathan Jones and Ruben Sellers, because that really ruined us. I mean, we're still paying Ralph. Oh, no, we're not, because he's at Wolfsburg. But at one point, we were paying all three managers and Russell Martin's contract. So, yeah.
I think we're still paying Ralph. Oh, my word. But now he's at Wolfsburg, as you say.
Yeah, I mean, he's doing very well. Fair play to him. He's doing very well at Wolfsburg.
I don't like looking at it, to be honest. It hurts.
You don't. It does. I mean, I always think that we should have sacked him in the summer because I don't think because Ralph. Oh, I don't want to talk about Ralph, but anyway, I think Ralph was a good guy. I don't think he was actually a
Do you
great
think?
manager towards the end.
Do you think they might try something stupid like they did with Ralph? Remember they sacked all of Ralph's coaching staff and just replaced the entire coaching staff and went, that'll sort it?
They did do that because I think Ralph wanted new ones. I don't know. I can't remember if he wanted new ones or
Do you
not.
remember
But
that was the
they
whole
told
thing?
him- Yeah, they were like, well, we'll give him new coaching staff, see if that changes the situation, and then it just didn't work. Are they going to do that? No, because Martin's too loyal to his staff. I mean, I still can't believe we don't have a set piece specialist, and it's it's Christmas. I can't actually believe that. I mean, that is just.
No.
Wasn't it? Didn't we go like 6 games on the trot or something of conceding from set pieces or something stupid?
Yeah.
And I can't believe the club haven't replaced Andreas Georgeson. It's just
That once again, mate, it's just giving away stuff, just shooting ourselves in the foot for a pointless reason. A hole that we know needs filling, but for no other reason than because we don't want to look at it.
Yeah,
when it's not being filled.
Opinion.
Like you say, if you make the change and you're still going to end up in the same position you were now, then what's the point of doing that and spending 20 million and have the pleasure of doing it? Like you say, if you're not going to have an actual plan to do it, then just sacking Russell Martin doesn't change anything until we've got the other sort out. Yeah.
And I think that the longer that they stick with Martin, and if the results don't change, the more and more people will start to resent Sport Republic. Yeah. And as I said, that will hurt them the most because they need to be able to work on this multi-club model. Because I'm not going to lie to you, people talk about Giuseppe at the moment, fine, but that is the model that it's working. You can see it working because the players we've given them are helping them to where they are in the Super League right now. It is working, but it will take time for it to be reflected with Saints, and they don't have time on their side post relegation. Again, if it's a double relegate, if we get relegated this season twice under their ownership, then fans will just not have it. And I would feel bad because I think they've got right ideas. I've met Henrik Kraft many times, and he does talk sense. And I when you talk to him, but it all has to be taken with a pinch of salt. And I've got no doubt that when January rolls along, and we have another fans forum, because we will, they told me that they'll do 2 a year. That it will be like it was 2 years ago. It will just be toxic.
Yeah.
And then we'll see how that goes. But there you go.
It'd be pretty spicy indeed. But yeah, no, certainly with the model. I mean, my worry is the ownership of the club as well, because you could hardly look at the Giles reign of Southampton Football Club as a glory days, can you? Because he was spending no money. And then we're, in a situation. Oh, comes around all saying we're in desperate need of a striker that can put goals away. Well, here we are again and again and again. But the fact that if Sports Republic sells this club, that doesn't necessarily mean the new owner is going to be the right owner. I mean that will be particularly a worry it's certainly a worry for me in terms of what goes forward.
I think with Sport Republic, when they're trying to do a multi-club model, so they have Valencia and they have Giuseppe and Southampton on the books, right? If they sell Southampton, which is supposed to be the crown jewel with our academy and all the staff we have there and the brilliant work that they do, then they're stuck with Giuseppe and Valencia, which means then they need to go out and buy another club. With all the money they've put into Saints, and then they've probably taken a loss on Saints, and they won't be able to turn a profit here with the amount of money that they've spent. And they'll probably be selling the club at a loss. They're not going to be able to go out and afford to buy a top championship or a Premier League team. So then their multi-club model kind of breaks down a bit, unless they want to make a Super League team the crown jewel, which isn't great, really. Let's be honest, for any multi-club model. So I think not only selling Saints is difficult for them taking a loss, but they would be admitting that their entire thing is an absolute failure, and they won't have a big club with amazing training facilities and an amazing youth academy. To be able to help them grow organically. So I think the issue goes a lot deeper than just Saints for them anyway. But as I said, I would not, in the short term right now, I would not want to be one of the decision makers at Saints, because I don't know. I'm quite opinionated. I have absolutely no idea which way to go, because it is just literally flipping a coin. If it works and you gamble and we somehow miraculously stay up, and we would have to spend in January as well in order to do that, then fantastic, fair play to you. And then you've got to think about staying up again next season. Or if we go down, you have to make sure that we either get the right man in to get us promoted again, or you have to invest in the squad, or try and keep the players we have, which shouldn't be much of a problem, to be honest with you.
It's tough. That gamble does feel like a roulette wheel, which you've basically got one number on. You're just putting everything on, but it would be a gamble. But Rob, thank you so much for joining. Really do appreciate it. I know the chat section's been going absolutely crazy. There's been a couple of comments of people saying, "When's the Spaces coming back?" Do you have anything planned coming up?
They need to return, mate. I'm sorry. I've just been so busy at the moment. It's hard getting an evening free, but no, I will get them back up and go. Maybe after Christmas we'll get one sorted, I'm sure. Because people will be messaging me and they want to mention their opinion. I said Twitter is an open space. You can put your opinions out there, but I will get them back. I promise. I just need time to try and sort that out. But no, thank you very much for having me on, chaps. It's always a pleasure, and I'll see you on Sunday for a free pint, hopefully on Sport Republic's money.
Let's hope so, and we get a booking for the table. So we don't end up paying for that. But Rob, thank you so much. Really do appreciate that. And we'll catch you soon, man. Cheers, fella.
Good to see you, man.
Bye, guys.
Okay, always a pleasure.
I say we all just get coaching badges. I think the three of us get coaching badges. Football might as well, and we just take over a side.
Yeah, it's the whole kind of gamble of like if you make the change, and I'm along the lines of I want to see a change, but if that change means we still get relegated, and we're 25 million more in the hole, then I don't know. It doesn't really make. I get it that we're going in week in, week out, seeing all these mistakes, but it hurts. But ultimately, it's rough, isn't it? He's unplugged his mic. I can't hear him. You on mute.
How's that? That working? That working?
I could have let you carry on for a bit longer. That would have been
great.
Well funny. Yeah.
What I'm saying is, July comes, we switched to a wrestling channel. We looked at our house this week, and directly next door is Bedminton Heath Football Club. So maybe we just change it up a little bit. Just improve our mental health a little bit. It is, mate. It's just Rob's absolutely right in the fact that if you showed us where we are now to where we were in 2022, it's worse.
Yeah,
it's worse,
and it's very bleak.
And there's a part of it that's like Sports Republic they're trying to outsmart the Premier League. They think they think they can finesse it. When in reality, to either stay up, you have to brute force it. If you've got a side that's really good. If you look at Brighton, you look at Villa last season. There are teams out there that have got these sides that can play a certain je ne sais quoi of football, and it works for them, and they can go a little bit further than they did. Those teams that every season that overreach a little bit, those are the things you want to be. And at that point, you can do something a bit different. When you're like us and you don't have that side, you have to brute force it, and sometimes that is spending godly amounts on a striker. Sometimes that is sacking off a manager for big money and getting in a name, someone that knows the league, someone who's not. I'm going to try. This idea works in another league, so I'm going to try it here. Moyes will come in and he's like, I don't know how the Prem works. Potter would come in, even like he don't want to say it, but like you look at like Everton and Dyche. If we were having Everton season, you wouldn't be that upset with us.
No,
you'd actually be like, okay, this is where we need to be. The next season we can build from here. We're in a position where I'm like, Dyche would be a better option.
Yeah, it's pretty bleak. Yeah,
we are in the stages.
Woke nonsense, Jack.
We are in the Sam Allardyce stages, mate. We're not we need a manager to see us through, see us through the next 4 or 5 years. No, we're in a manager that I need us to keep us up this season, maybe get to January next season and see where we are.
Yeah.
That's what we need. We're in reload party right now. You don't want to be Watford, but sometimes you got to play Watford games.
Yeah, you do. This show is gone on so long because we've done it in a very rogue way. So we've done the lineup, but I'm going to leave the lineup because ultimately, who cares?
Hey, check TikTok, guys. Check TikTok. Revenue streams are over there too.
They'll be on there. But let's do this. I've still got Ben in the green room going nuts. Ben, I can't. There's loads of other things.
We can't. I've got to go to bed.
Next week. Yeah. Otherwise, it never happen. Ben, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I'm running out of Asahi, brother. We got to calm down.
There we go. I'm sorry, Ben. I had to kick him out. Always welcome back later on. Right, let's quickly do score predictions because that somehow feels like that matters. So this is the part of the show where we're going to give our score predictions for Sunday's game. So stick your score predictions, however positive they may well be, and me and Jack will be going through all of those right after. I feel like I've got some kind of continuity back to the show. Right, here we go. We haven't talked a second about Spurs. Postecoglou having a dodgy spell at the moment. Play some exciting football. It's incredibly risky.
Fraser Forster's in goal.
Spurs fans aren't happy that they're playing attractive football, but they're losing games, and they much prefer it to when they were winning games and playing ugly football. That's it, isn't it? Have I done it?
I think so.
That's it. Yeah. Right, let's go through these score predictions. Right, Jack, what are you saying? Is it still 4-0?
I'll be honest. This is today is the closest I've ever come to saying we're going to lose. I thought today was really going to be the day where I was like, look, no, I no more jokes. This is it. But bugger that, mate. We're going to win 3-0.
Yeah.
We're going to win 3-0. And it's going to be no rousing speech this time. Just bloody do it, would you? Do it
Exactly.
so I come back next week. Do it so I actually want to go to Fulham.
Yes.
Rob's already sworn. Stop being an arsehole. Score a bloody goal. Bloody game.
Yay! This won't get blocked. It's absolutely fine. Right, I'm with you all the way. I'm going 3-0 Saints. You're going 3-0 Saints. Let's go straight to the chat section and see what they're saying and see if they're still on brand with this channel because we cannot predict a loss on this channel. And draws are generally quite frowned upon, really, aren't they? So let's go through that. Of course, Spurs have come in the last 9 visits. Someone in the chat section said this to me earlier, so I'm just taking their stat. In the last 9 visits, Spurs have only won twice. So it was a draw last time. You want to guess what the score was, Jack?
2-2.
The numbers are on the screen.
Is it 3-3?
It was 3-3. How did you get that?
Good.
That's right. Right, let's... that's just offensive. Who's put that? No. Goodness, no. Right, let's roll through these score predictions. Still time to see yours in the chat section right now. So Sengatili's going for 3-0 in the wrong direction. Ben's going for a 2-1. Nice one. Look at that. Another Ben is going for a 2-1. Nice. Stuart Roberts is going for a Saints 3, Spurs 2. We do love a 3-2 against Spurs. Famous, for me at least, away win 3-2s. Sengatili reckons you're going to go 7-0 Saints, Jack, but here we are. I'm loving the positivity. Look at this. Look at 3-2 Saints from Paul. Love it. Luke's going 2-0 Saints. But he looks like a somber face at the end. Oh. But you're happy. We win.
Is he a Spurs fan?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. DC Joe Nelson 2-0 Saints. Win one for the keeper. That's what we say in the US when you need a win. Oh, I love that. Okay, I'll look up that phrase. I hope it means what you say it does.
I've heard Reagan say that.
Oh, really? Okay.
DC Joe, if I've nailed that, get me my green card now. That's worth a visa. That's
that'll get you a work permit for 6 months there, Jack.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, exactly. Graham Osmond's going, we beat 10-man Spurs 1-0 in the last minute with a goal from Ramsdale. Oh, they would love that. Love that. Ralphie's going for 5-0 Saints. Oh my goodness. Get yourself to matchdayvlogs.com and get yourself a Matchday Vlogs shirt. You are so on brand right now. Stefan Horde is going for is a 1-0 Southampton. Love it. Absolutely love it.
Here's the thing. A Sulemana turnaround could maybe be something that saves us this season. If a player suddenly lives up to every bit of potential out of nowhere.
Yeah.
But I cannot believe we're at the point where Sulemana is going to be worse than Jintabo.
Yeah, it's true.
That's the word I live in right now.
Who knows? Who knows what he's going to do? But you never know with these things. But we've talked a lot this evening about the future of Southampton. We've been joined by some great guests talking about their feelings about the club and where it currently sits at the moment. Some very balanced opinions on the current situation, and of course what the situation would be if we were to lose our current manager and how that would stand. I think some good points in there in terms of the squad still being on side with Russell Martin's way of playing, and of course the financial implications should we make a change. So it's been an interesting one. I've enjoyed the show. It's been very long. This is our longest live show we've done in a while, but that's what you get when you invite guests on the show, isn't it? You get a bit more time to do those kind of things. Jack, it's been fun. Of course, we will be there on Sunday. We'll be heading down to the Dell Bar to start off our day. It's going to be a very long day. I'm being dropped off. So let's just say the intro for the show. Because this and this don't go. It's a no-go. So I have to get a lift in. Fantastic stuff. And of course, don't forget to check over at Football Prizes, because of course this shirt is up for grabs. Let me get rid of that banner so you can actually see it in its full glory. This shirt is up for grabs, and when I last checked, they'd only sold 10 tickets. So you have a 1 in 10 chance of winning this signed shirt, and it is available for the price of a moderately priced cup of coffee. As it stands at the moment, with just £3.95 for the tickets. They are limited to 165 tickets. Competition ends on Tuesday, the 17th of December. That's next Tuesday, by the way. That's this coming Tuesday, sorry. So scan the QR code up there, or just simply go to footballprizes.co.uk and find yourself an absolute steal there. And who knows? Oh, there's images everywhere.
Look at it.
There we go. There we go. Of course, if you are watching the show on replay, then feel free to stick in your thoughts in the comment section. Keep the chat section going that way. But aside from that, any final words, Jack? Anything you'd like to add?
I think Joe's final comment sums it up for me. Jack nailed it.
With Paul in the middle. Oh, that one.
Yeah, the
Sorry.
one.
Jack nailed it.
In
What do you
general,
consider
in general, Joe, yes, I did.
I'm impressed, Jack. Look at that. Or should I call you Jackopedia?
Absolutely. Get me my green card. Joe, we can do a foreign exchange, mate. You can come watch this dross and I can hang out in DC for a bit. I'd rather watch that.
Absolutely. Yeah, we need to do an away day for that. Ben, thank you so much for coming in. How was the rest of your Netflix show? If you answer after our close show, stick in the comment section. Right, lovely stuff. Chat, thank you so much for all the time. As always, remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and we will see you on Sunday.
God, it doesn't end.
See ya.